These are all the secrets you missed in the Afterlife. The Afterlife is one of the most iconic bars in Cyberpunk. If you're trying to become someone in Night City, then this is where you take your shot. The place belongs to Rogue, queen of the Fixers, a legendary merc on her own, and the ex-lover to the rocker boy we know so well. It's funny, Johnny was once inside of her, and now he's inside of you. But besides the backshot deals and hospital-like aesthetics, there's a ton of secrets here that most players miss. And in this video, I'm going to cover every single one. I'll even throw in the tiniest facts and hidden details that make this bar so iconic. For starters, do you know what happens when you sneak into the Afterlife before the heist? The Afterlife is one of Night City's most exclusive bars, and it isn't just a random club you can stroll into. It's a place where legends are made, and drinks named after them once they hit the dirt. If you're not somebody, you're nobody. Rogue appointed Emmerich Bronson as the club bouncer, one of the nicest animals around. But he won't let you in unless you know the right people. Unless you're David, of course. But having a military-grade Sandy is definitely cheating. In Cyberpunk, you spend the majority of Act 1 grinding gigs to build your rep. And once you make a name for yourself, the fattest fixer in the world hits you with an offer: your pass into the Afterlife. At first, Emmerich sizes you up, but Jackie works his Latin charm and in you go. But things turn out differently if you show up before Dex. If you head to the Afterlife before the call, Emmerich responds like this.
Can I get in?
Referral?
What?
Just as I thought. Keep walking.
Instead of a simple locked door, he still acknowledges you in a natural in-world type of way. It's a small detail that makes Night City feel more alive. But also, do you know what the Afterlife really is? Think about it. It's a bar buried deep in a grimy part of Little China, tucked in a rundown basement floor. Inside, the air is cold, the walls are covered in tarp, and the tiles? They're straight out of a goddamn Saw movie.
Bullshit.
This isn't a let's get up kind of bar. It's more like a wait, someone in this bar is going to us up. That's because the Afterlife isn't just a bar. It's a decommissioned morgue. Look at the tables, body stretchers, and those industrial pipes above, pumping air to keep bodies cool. Those aren't even shelves behind our Claire Bear. Those are hospital-grade body freezers. In fact, there's freezers all around. Jackie even calls it out the first time you step inside.
Place used to be a morgue. You believe that?
Who would have thunk?
I know, right? Way before our time, that. And proper burials were still a thing.
But here's another fun fact. The devs designed it this way on purpose. The original Afterlife in Cyberpunk 2020 was actually a former morgue. And keeping up with tradition, this third iteration follows that theme to a T. But why did Rogue have to move the Afterlife anyways? Well, the first got bombed by Johnny, and the second bombed by rising rent. It looks like even the best fixer in the world can't fight off gentrification. But besides the on-brand mortuary fixtures, there's even tiny details you missed on the walls, like these next two portraits. The next time you plan to get hammered, take a peek at the samurai altar behind the bar. See, Claire is a fan. Here you'll find a mint condition samurai album, Never Fade Away records, and all the ingredients needed to make a Johnny Silverhand, complete with a splash of top shelf tequila, just how Johnny likes it. But on the second shelf down, you'll spot two portraits. At first it looks like 12 ordinary Night City souls, but the truth? They're all legends. On the left is Cyber 6, an elite edgerunner crew straight out of Cyberpunk Red. They're the ones who smuggled the nuke that was buried deep under Arasaka HQ. You got Zara, the bow-yielding edgerunner, Damien, the techie and the best gamer in the group, Numo, the netrunner who challenged London's elites, Kepler, the Florida nomad who drives an armored combi, Trace, the media who exposed the Night City Holocaust, and Leela, the rocker boy who united them all. Because remember, every crew needs a rocker boy who hates the system. And on the right, you have Team Monster, the legendary hit squad from Realm Smith's Cyberpunk Red series.
I'll hit that mist, and I'll take the mist, and I'll use the sort of slipperiness on the floor.
You got Serial, the blade-loving rollerblader, Nox, the synth-pop DJ, Isolate, the long-range specialist, Lucky, the squad's trusted driver, Paladin, the merc with the best beard, and Too Tall, the calm and collected Yao Ming-sized nomad. Night City may forget its legends, but the Afterlife never will. The next stop on our list is a locked room hidden in the back. This is Rogue's room, the domain of Night City's most powerful fixer. And as the owner of one of the most exclusive bars in town, you just know there's some shady inside. But to get in, you have to let Johnny take over. In one of the game's final endings, you can give your body to Johnny. He'll stumble into the Afterlife, mac up Rogue, and then wake up in her room. There you'll find banking details from Asukage and Finch, a New York investment firm catering to the world's most powerful and richest elites. You'll also spot a drawing from Rogue's kit, and on the table, a love note from an old flame. It's titled Greetings from Nowhere, and in it the sender reminisces about how much the world has changed. They're out in the middle of nowhere now, but they sent a bottle of rattlesnake moonshine to toast in their name. And the writer? Santiago, the nomad from an earlier flashback. But on Rogue's desk is an even bigger secret. Here you'll find old photos of her, Johnny, and Carrie, plus one with the legendary Maximum Mike. He's the host of 107.3 Moral Rock and the in-game persona of Mike Pondsmith, the creator of Cyberpunk. Pondsmith even confirmed that Mike and Rogue dated after Johnny, so yeah, that makes this picture a little awkward. And have you ever wondered what happens if you betray a fixer? In Cyberpunk, fixers are the lifeblood of the underworld. Got a job? They're who you call when you need to get it done. There's no pay without jobs, and there's no jobs without fixers.
We are the blood and guts of this city.
So it makes sense why you'd want to stay on their good side. But over at the Afterlife, you'll find out what happens when you don't. Put on your Chismosa ears and eavesdrop around. In the corner are two guys whispering about a gig.
That was your best idea for some quick scratch. Next day, I was a pariah. She cut me off completely. Nobody would take my calls. It was like I was dead. Good thing you only tested Regina. She's gentle.
Apparently this dude over Regina. Now, nobody answers his calls. As far as the city's concerned, he's already dead. But remember, Regina's one of the nicer ones. Head to the men's dump room and it's a scarier, different story.
Your license has been revoked. Japantown, you got a ghost out of there. Got it?
No way. I want to talk to Wakako.
So call her, dude. She's sure to want to know your mind on this.
Some poor soul thought it was smart to mess with Wakako, the wife of 5 husbands and the mother to 9 high-ranking Tiger Claws. And she didn't just ghost him, she took it to an Asian level and actually banished him from Japantown. And since we're already on the topic of eavesdropping, did you catch all the secret conversations at the Afterlife? Remember, the Afterlife isn't just a bar, it's a hotspot for Merc business. You got Tiger Claws cashing checks, Valentino's moving chrome, and Maelstrom planning how else to be the most hated gang in Night City. It's basically the Salty Spittoon, where all walks of life call home.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
And if you pay attention, you'll catch 2 big conversations. The first is the crew of edge runners planning their hit on Arasaka.
We got no idea how many are holed up in that bunker.
Apparently they received faulty intel prior, but the job is well worth the risk. Fast forward a couple days and NCPD is banging on the Afterlife doors.
But now, call for backup.
Crack some heads open, drag the bodies inside.
I told you, dog. Afterlife's all about rep, the respect you command. Badge don't mean a thing here. Doors are shut to us, that's that.
Just incredible. Rogue thinks she's above the law?
Whoa, man, quiet down. She hear that, she shoot your balls off, and I don't want to get hit by no ricochet.
NC pigs aren't welcome here, and one swears Rogue herself would break their knees if she found out they stepped inside. But they're not here for a drink. They're after that crew from earlier, the one now huddled around a pool table with one of their pals bleeding out.
Hang on just a little longer, Chew. Ripper's on the way. Why aren't we at the hospital? Say something, Shep. Anything. What do you mean you're not coming? You're coming, dog. You'll be here in 5 minutes flat or...
One guy is on the phone frantically calling his Ripper to come over. They escaped to the Afterlife because they knew the cops wouldn't chase. And speaking of, did you catch these 3 hidden details at the Afterlife in Cyberpunk? Most players actually miss these. First, scan Rogue. She's the queen of fixers after all, one of the most powerful people in Night City. And scanning her puts her bounty at a whopping 50,000 eddies, one of the highest in the game. She's wanted for offing a corpo and who knows how many others. And I'd expect nothing less from this Night City legend. Next, when you meet Dexter Deshawn, check his right boot. No editor, boot. I said boot. See that emblem? That's from the Wolf School straight from the Witcher series. You'd think Dex would rock one from the Buffalo School considering his size. Lastly, tucked in a quiet hallway is another rare data shard, the Solo's Manual by Morgan Blackhand, arguably the strongest merc in Cyberpunk lore. In it, he gives the reader advice on how to survive as a solo in Night City. Being a solo doesn't just mean rocking the biggest iron and putting on the flashiest chrome. This guy got to where he was with little to no cyberware. He might even be stronger than V. There's no drink for Blackhand because some say he's still kicking. Me personally, I bet we'll see him in Cyberpunk 2. And lastly, this is where to find the hidden rooftop cache at the Afterlife in Cyberpunk. Before entering the Afterlife, say hi to our favorite bouncer, then turn right towards an elevator. The elevator shaft should open up and you can walk inside to find a button on the wall. The button only activates if you've chosen the rogue or solo ending, but I'll tell you a little secret if you're really that curious. If the elevator is available, then press the button to take it to the roof. This is where Rogue's AV will pick you up, and you'll need to turn right and look towards the shack on your left. See that small space above? There you'll find a hidden chest packed with thousands of eddies and tier 5 gear. You can even try reloading your safe to switch up the loot. If you can't use the elevator, then I have to remind you that the effort really isn't worth it. You can reach the rooftop with some creative parkour, but it took me about 15 minutes and dozens of quick saves to make it up. At least you get a nice view of the city. That'll net you some good old internet points. You're welcome.